The Pentagon has a new strategy in Iraq and Afghanistan. An experimental $40 million program called the Human Terrain System has begun enlisting recruits of a different kind to win the battle of hearts and minds. They have graduate degrees in anthropology and serve as cultural advisors to the U.S. military. Some military analysts have hailed the program as the 21st century equivalent of a Vietnam-era military project called CORDS, or Civil Operations and Revolutionary Development Support. But the move has anthropologists up in arms. They point to the ethical implications of renewing a program like CORDS that assassinated over 26,000 suspected Viet Cong. In September, a group of scholars formed a network of concerned anthropologists, inspired by physicists who opposed the Reagan-era Star Wars program.
We were created from an urgent need in the middle of a war 5 years into it. It was something that was needed now. The focus is humanity. The focus is on the population. Terrain, when you talk about terrain, military people, military professionals are very comfortable with the idea of terrain. When you put the two together, it gives them a picture of the new environment that they're operating in. In other words, a human terrain that you have to understand the intricacies and the details of, just like you understand that of geographic terrain.
The goal of the program really is to use the knowledge and wisdom and methodologies of social science to enable the military to complete their mission more effectively with less loss of human life, both military and civilian, and to help the military to think about things from somebody else's point of view so that their activities are harmonized, so that they are operating in conjunction, in partnership with those local communities.
Team 1, Mike Williams, team leader here, sir. And we've got 2 others, Moran, who's an analyst, and Steve, who is a research manager.
The U.S. military is expanding a program in Iraq to send teams of anthropologists and social scientists across the country, acting as cultural analysts for U.S. forces.
So we go out to the villages and to the cities and talk to the Iraqis, get an idea of their perceptions, their feelings, basically what they're thinking about their culture. And then we take that back to the military so they have a better understanding of the local population.
The human terrain teams have been portrayed by proponents as nothing more than a kind of hearts and minds campaign. If you look at internal discussions in journals like Military Review, you find that they're more candid about what the aims of the human terrain program are. And according to those sources, human terrain is really about counterinsurgency, really about finding out who the bad guys are, and relating that information up the chain of command.
You know, the strongest argument that people have made who want to convince anthropologists to help in this endeavor is that anthropologists' help will create a more humane approach on the part of the U.S. military towards the Iraqi people. And my argument, and I think the argument of many anthropologists, is that that is a very seductive idea, that you would be able to help in a situation of crisis. What I think one has to step back and ask is, help what? Help whom to do what?